Want to turn to hockey now, and a new revelation of sexual abuse by a coach. NHL great Theoren Fleury says the abuser was junior hockey coach Graham James. He is the same man convicted of abusing Sheldon Kennedy. Fleury tells all in his new book, Playing with Fire. Tom Harrington reports.
Theoren Fleury describes in often graphic detail about an abusive sexual relationship he'd had with Graham James starting when he was just 14 years old, a relationship that lasted 2 years. And in his description, Fleury is quite clear about what happened, how it happened, and the effect it had on his life, which he details again in the book, everything from drug use, alcoholism, even at one point considering suicide, the effects on his marriages, which broke up. He's got a lot of, there's been a lot of damage done, and he blames most of it on what happened to him as a tween, if you will, or a young teenage boy trying to play hockey out west, junior hockey. And in the book as well, Fleury essentially says that he felt powerless, much like people in these abusive relationships. And in this exclusive or a feature interview that he did with Bob McEwen of the Fifth Estate, Fleury describes that sense of powerlessness, what would happen if he came forward and told his secret even back at that time. Let's listen.
You try to understand, what's going on, but, and you're so afraid, you're so afraid that, if I tell somebody what's going to happen to my hockey career, you know what I mean? Because I was so focused on, getting out of Russell, I was so focused on that I was probably willing to do whatever it took to, to make it.
The most prominent victim up till now, at least, Sheldon Kennedy, was one of the two players, another one unnamed, who eventually brought Graham James up on charges, and he was convicted and banned from coaching in hockey in Canada. And Kennedy has commented on this as well, essentially saying that he knew that Fleury was being abused, but it wasn't his job to announce that, to out Theoren Fleury's relationship with Graham James. It was up to Fleury, and finally he's done so in this book, which was, as I said, will be released next week. I've had a chance to read the book in advance copy, and it's fairly clear that he's reached a point in his life where he is clean and sober. He hasn't been drinking and doing drugs now, he says, for more than 4 years. He is happily married, and he has his life together, and he feels it's time to send a warning to other young men, young boys who may be in relationships like this. At the time, this was such an enormous scandal in Canada, there was even an inquiry into it. And Sheldon Kennedy, when he came out, part of the reason he did so was to warn young men to get out of these relationships, to come forward, to tell something that Theoren Fleury didn't do and regretted his whole life. So in a way, this is getting that 400-pound load off his shoulders to explain what happened to him and explain the collateral damage, if you will, of a relationship like this, what it did to the rest of his life, and ostensibly his hockey career. I mean, he did win a Stanley Cup, he did win an Olympic gold medal, a World Junior Championship, but he blew an awful lot of money, he ruined an awful lot of lives, nearly his own, and I think he feels this is the cautionary tale that needs to be told.
That is Tom Harrington in Toronto. And as Tom mentioned, Fleury told his story in its entirety to the Fifth Estate's Bob McEwen. We are going to have, a week from today, on October 16th, that full interview. The Fifth Estate will have that full hour dedicated to that interview with Theo Fleury. That is next Friday on the Fifth Estate.